What's up, y'all? This is Clayton. We are so excited to be back on Chill With Clayton. Yes, I know we had a 1 week hiatus, but as a lot of you know, there were some big time current world events that happened, and I have a video on that if you want to go check that out. I have my thoughts on that. But we are so happy to be back once again on Chill With Clayton. So really excited for that today. Today we're going to be talking about the current outbreak. Well, I wouldn't say outbreak, but like the outreach and the current like spiritual movement. Some might even say revival right now going all around the world. Some of this is also due to Charlie Kirk's death, which I will get into in a little bit. I'll talk about those impacts of that from his views and how people are living out for that. But like I said, everybody, welcome back. Check out the Chill With Clayton Instagram page for daily Bible verses. You'll love it. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. It is free, by the way, so all you gotta do is just tap the like button. That's all I ask. Thank you. And I'm asking pretty please. So I'm using my nice words. Okay, and then if you're also listening on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts and Spotify, hey, go check out, give us a like, give us a follow, tell your friends and family, all that stuff. If you have any questions, check out the chillwithclayton@gmail.com. You're gonna give us some questions, maybe some podcast ideas, guests. By the way, I do have 2 guests coming in the coming months, so be on the lookout. And if you want to come on, hey, you could be an extra guest. I could put in the new videos. So just letting y'all know. But as I was saying, we're going to be talking about the current spiritual movement going on around the world and in the USA. So let's get into it, y'all. All right, guys. So like I said, we're going to be talking about the current spiritual revival and movement going on around in the USA. I bet some of y'all have seen on Instagram, there have been these pictures of and videos of just these downtowns in America just absolutely flooded by people marching for Jesus. Well, I want to tell you what that is all about. That is from the United Revival, specifically called the Jesus March. Funny enough, they actually just had 2 recent ones that were, I want to say like 2 weeks ago. It was in Dallas. Here in Dallas, I think it was out near Clyde-Moore Park. But you can, if I'm wrong, you can put that in the comments. They were also in the Houston area, also as well, marching around. So pretty cool what is going on. So what really the United Revival Jesus March is what happens is that you get a rundown of the day. You're going to get a rundown of the day. You go out and evangelize to people. There's a prayer, so like, you know, having having the Holy Spirit with you as you go on. There's an altar call for anybody who like brought any friends, or if anyone's new to Christ, to, you know, accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. And then there's also some worship time where you can like praise the Lord as well, which is really awesome what they do out there. Then, of course, the march will officially start going. There's singing, there's an exuberance, there's like dancing, there's joy. Like, I mean, they want you to make it feel like you're walking, like what the streets of heaven are going to look like in the future. Like, that's what I'm believing, that I'm seeing when I watch this stuff. They're just going around in the streets, just proclaiming the gospel and absolutely loving it. And then, of course, they end the day with more prayer, like congratulating the Lord on like what He's done in that area, the worship, and then heck, even some people get baptized who are like, yeah, like I want to get my baptism on the right side of my salvation, which is really, really awesome. Speaking of baptisms, by the way, in California at Harvest Church, which is led by Pastor Greg Laurie. If you want to know more about Greg Laurie's story, by the way, go watch Jesus Revolution. Great movie, by the way. But they had their 3rd annual Jesus Revolution baptisms at Pirates Cove out in California, with 2,100 people getting baptized in only one day. Pretty cool. And then also something that I remembered also from Harvest Church is that at Los Angeles Angel Stadium of Anaheim, I will always call them the Anaheim Angels or the California Angels, because that is in Anaheim, California, by the way, folks. Sorry, my little baseball knowledge is coming out right now, but they actually filled the stadium with a worship night and a prayer night. It was pretty cool. If I remember right, I think Chris Tomlin was out there. I believe Brandon Lake was also out there. Like, there were some big time Christian artists out there at that, and it was pretty cool. I've talked about the Unite Us movement before in my videos at the colleges. Their most recent one, their first fall 2025 one, was at Oklahoma University. 9,000 students packed into the Lloyd Noble Center, which is the basketball, maybe volleyball, all the arena for Oklahoma. If there's any Oklahoma students, you can fix that in the comments if I got that wrong. But they came to worship, pray, and then also many of those students also got baptized after the event. I unfortunately don't have the exact number, but with how I've seen them happen before, probably over 100 probably could have gotten baptized, or at least over 50. I mean, God's been moving, y'all. The Unite Us movements will also be continuing at the University of South Florida, also at the University of Tennessee, Grand Canyon University, Cincinnati University, NC State University, and Clemson University through November 18th, with more to be announced later. You can go check those out at Unite Us Movement. You can look that up on Google and you can get your place into those. So pretty cool. Also, these movements from the past couple years were actually filmed in a documentary called The Revival Generation that was actually premiered at the Kennedy Center, which is pretty cool. So that was really cool. You'll notice I believe it was JP Jonathan Bacluda was like one of the big talkers about this movie, and it was a really cool thing. Now we're going to talk about what's been going on around the world in the movement of Jesus Christ right now. If you've been watching any sporting event by chance, that is from anything from baseball to football to boxing to UFC to soccer, any big sporting event you can think of, many athletes have been proclaiming their faith very much around there. I think we've been seeing recently in the boxing, I know there's like a big boxing match that happened. I forgot, I think it was Terrence Crawford is his name. He talked about the gospel in his pre and his post-game interview. You've been seeing that a lot in also in college football. Many athletes are very outspoken about their faith now, which is so amazing to see. And just to see that also for kids around the world who get to see those athletes, and they look up to those athletes and they're like, hey, like, if they're proclaiming about the gospel, I mean, I guess I should too, because I want to be like them. But they want to make sure, like, hey, like, they want to make sure, like, they're proclaiming it because of Jesus. They're not proclaiming it for themselves. They're proclaiming it because they love Jesus. Also, celebrities have been very candid now about some of their faith. You think of like people like Candace Cameron Bure. You think of people like Kirk Cameron. Also, Chris Pratt was out on Instagram the week when Charlie Kirk got assassinated. He had a prayer for just all of Instagram just to go and just pray with him. Zachary Levi was another one. I could go on and on, honestly, with how much like divide and split there is right now. Like, it's kind of crazy, like, seeing that, but like seeing some of Hollywood going out and saying that they proclaim their faith into the gospel. Like, I recently just saw today the star of Malcolm in the Middle. I forgot his name, unfortunately, but it'll come into my head again. He's now racing in NASCAR, but good gosh, Mike, you could put the actor's name in there. I'm drawing a blank right now, but y'all know who it is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, he proclaimed that he was a Christian just a couple days ago, so that was really cool. And like I said, since the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, revival has been happening because that's what Charlie stood for. He was very open about his faith. On a podcast interview, he said he wants to be remembered for his faith in the gospel. He doesn't want to be remembered for all the debating and all that kind of stuff. He wants to be remembered on how he shared and proclaimed the gospel. Like, I think that's so awesome. And then you've been seeing that happening from Brazil, from Italy, Germany, Korea, England, Australia, New Zealand. Like, there are so many countries that are just going out there into the streets and just praising and worshiping Jesus. Heck, it's been even going on in the White House recently. Like, it's crazy. And then there was also, this is hard for me to say because unfortunately these people, they don't get talked about much, but they need to be mentioned. And it's the people that are willing to sacrifice themselves for their faith. Because we do know around the world there are countries that are cracking down on Christians and going like, we do not want these people out here. We do not want these people out there. And there are many people that have unfortunately had been put to death because of the gospel. So I want to pray for those people most definitely, because I mean they are so convicted with their faith in Jesus. Like, most of us Americans are very scared to go like, man, like, do I really want to put my life on the line for the gospel? Like, it seems nuts. Like, I've had those same thoughts as well, but it's like these people put their life, their love for Jesus on the line, on their human life. Like, that is insane. And I just hope there are Americans out there that are willing to die for the gospel. Like, I mean, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of faith in that. And I'm trying my best to do that myself, but it's still kind of wild for me to think that in my own brain as being like how like I've lived in here in America. But Sunday, as you all know, September 21st, at Charlie Kirk's memorial that happened at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, many people heard what Charlie would have wanted, and that was worship. You had top artists like Kari Jobe and Cody Carnes. You had Brandon Lake. You had Phil Wickham. You had Chris Tomlin. Just maybe for an hour and a couple hours just leading just an absolute loaded stadium that included our President of the United States as well as some of the cabinet was there, and just like people who just wanted to be there and support Charlie, or even people who were just like, hey, like, I just want to see like who this guy was. Who was Charlie Kirk? And they got to see like this worship from these most famous Christian artists. You also saw just the proclaiming of the gospel by many different people. I mean, there was people from Tucker Carlson, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, J.D. Vance. Of course, the big moment of that memorial on Sunday was when Erica Kirk herself forgave the killer that killed her husband. Like, that was, like, people were going like, oh my gosh, like, that was like, wow. But how she said it, she goes, it's because what Jesus would do and what Charlie would have done. Now, I mean, Charlie is human, but Jesus is perfect. It's not like I'm doubting you, Charlie. I'm not doubting you there, but I got a feeling you would as well. But I mean, you know what I mean. But yeah, man, it's like it's crazy just to see that happening and just seeing so many people proclaiming the gospel. One thing I also want to mention is from Charlie's mentor, Dr. Frank Turek. He said his speech was one of the best, in my humble opinion. I highly recommend for y'all to go just listen to a few minutes of that. But like, one of my favorite quotes he said was, I want you in the morning, like when the devil sees you wake up, he goes, oh no, he's awake again. Like, I thought that was so cool, like going like, the devil was like literally like scared to see you awake. Like, that is so stinking cool about that. We also talked about Sunday, also at our church, at the Cross Church in Wiley, Texas. Our pastor, Pastor Chris, by the way, congratulations on 20 years, Pastor Chris. So congratulations on that. Congratulations to him. But he gave us this stat from from one of the conferences he went to. He goes, for the first time in many years, Gen Z and Gen Alpha have been going a lot more to the church. That hasn't happened since the baby boomers. And that's no offense to y'all and Gen X or millennials, because I know y'all are out there and y'all do go to church, but like he said, there's something moving going on. God is moving right now in Gen Z and in Gen Alpha, even though as crazy as the words that come out of Gen Alpha's mouth sometimes, all the weird sayings they have from like, all the TikTok stuff, you've probably seen it, and like all the brain rot you think that's going on, like God is moving in this generation. It's kind of crazy. And he also said at the gatherings like the summer camps, discipleship nows, or refuel. By the way, go check out that refuel episode, pretty cool. But also mission trips, worship nights, like anything you could think of with the college students, all of that. 10 to 20% of the crowd will get their lives to Christ. Like, that is so stinking cool, guys. So God is moving in America. He is moving around the world. And I just can't wait to see what he's got up next. So, and we'll keep you updated on that. So let's go ahead and go into our Bible verse of the week, y'all. So guys, this week's verse is from the Old Testament, the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14. It says, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and will heal their land." So when I hear this verse, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray to seek my face, a lot of people have been seeing what's been happening in America. Like just today, we just had that horrible shooting that happened at the ICE agency out in Dallas. By the way, this is Wednesday, by the way I'm filming it. You'll see this video on Friday, so we'll know more information about that. But like, we know we've had the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We've had school shootings. We've had all kinds of just stuff that has been going on in America. But let me tell you this. Christians, if you're out there right now, and I'm talking to the lukewarm ones or the ones that just like they don't want to offend anybody, like, hey, let me tell you this. Sometimes I feel that way too. Like, I feel that way sometimes because you feel like, oh, but my friend ain't gonna like Jesus anymore, or they're gonna like Jesus anymore. Well, Forrest Frank honestly said it best in his Instagram video. He goes, like, hey, like, go ahead and unfollow me. Like, go ahead and do it. But he makes sure at the end of the video, he goes, but let me just leave you with this. Remember about the gospel of Jesus Christ. He came to save you. He died for you. So if there's one thing you at least heard, at least hear that. And I think a lot of us Christians are being called right now to be very open about our faith. Like, if we knew one thing about the whole thing with Charlie Kirk, he was very open about his faith. He was willing to talk about his faith with people in his debates, in his very civil debates with people. And you've been seeing like impacts on it. Like even CNN's own Van Jones even earned he earned his respect for Charlie because all he wanted to do was just say, and unfortunately this happened one day before his death. Charlie texted him and go, hey, like, I'd love to just have a good civil debate with you, man. And that is just really awesome. And I think people are realizing that our country needs Christ more than ever right now. So that's why there's so much spiritual movement going on right now in America and around the world, because they remember this verse, 2 Chronicles chapter 17, verse 14. Because when he says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. So folks, if you're in America, if you're in England, if you're anywhere around your country, remember to put this first to your heart. And if you want healing in your land, remember to put Christ first in your land. Then God will come and heal your land. Now, the thing is, it could take time because God, answers in His time. So, if it doesn't feel like God's moving, He's moving, but it might just be in some smaller little ways, maybe just to get ready for that big movement that will be happening later on. And, y'all, folks, it's been a great episode. I almost forgot. By the way, we're still here on Wednesday, September 24th. A lot of people yesterday thought it was the rapture. If you've been watching TikTok or any videos, we're still here because, like God said, you can go check out my Bible verse for today. No one knows what time God will come, so don't get baited by those videos. But folks, I'm just so excited to be back again. I hope y'all enjoy today's episode. It was a lot of fun to make. And as I always say, because I know y'all love this closing, don't mess with Texas. God bless. Keep Jesus first. And I will see y'all later. Clayton signing out. Adios and yeehaw!